Alright, it's time for another week. ZTGD Radio. This episode 833, February 17th, 2025. Yeah, like before I said before the show started, I can't believe March is almost here. I always forget February is like super short. So, but on the show this week we got Anthony.
Yeah, I'm here.
Returns.
I'm here too.
Hi. We got the Wombat.
Hello.
I'm here 3.
That makes 4.
Did anybody else get hit by snow?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got poured on, flooding warnings last night, thunderstorms.
Yep.
And then woke up to a bunch of snow.
Yeah, it was thundering
Well, that sounds like
when I
fun.
went to bed, and then I woke up to like my car and the driveway covered. I was like, man, this shit just melted.
Yep.
Yep.
I love snow, but I don't like this much snow. Like it just
Yeah, I don't like snow at all.
Me either.
But I also have to go to an office tomorrow morning, so
yes. If I had to go out,
I
I would
hope it's
probably
all cleared
like
up.
snow less.
On a don't you have the day off?
No, we don't. It's
No, President's Day isn't it's a bank holiday, so a lot of the banks are closed and government offices and stuff are closed. But
Gotcha.
my company doesn't close for that.
I think I've had
All right,
one
sorry. I didn't
job
know
where
President's Day was not a like holiday that everybody got.
I think I had one job where I was off on that day, and every other job I've had, I've not been off on that day. I don't think the first.
I've never had a job that was off on President's Day.
I think the first holiday that I get is like in May at this point. It's like Memorial Day.
Yeah, Memorial Day.
Yeah, I think it's the first holiday I
Well,
get.
I mean, New Year's Day is the first.
Yeah, but that don't count if it's like literally the first day for me. Like,
Sure does.
like my ass has done been on vacation for a while at that point, so I'm like, I start counting on January 2. When's my next day off? Anyway, video games, which you can do when it's snowing outside. You can stay inside and play those
can.
motherfuckers.
You absolutely can do that.
Let's kick off with Anthony, who I know is playing Control because Discord is always Anthony's playing Control.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm at the point where I'm just cheating with the game. We were talking about this before the show. I know it's Metroidvania and all this stuff, but the fact that like a lot of the upgrades and stuff rely on just random drops from enemies, I'm not doing that anymore. I turned on one-shot kills. Everything get fucked. I did the main game without that, and quite frankly, I'm just tired of having like 20-minute battles while I'm just trying to get from one place to another, because they just summon enemies that have fuck-off shields and stuff. So, yeah, I had to reset my factory reset my Steam Deck, so I'm re-downloading a bunch of shit to there. Exciting times. That's it. I mean, playing Deep Rock like always. Not much else to talk about.
Well then, that was very succinct.
I can't talk about the other things. So
I was gonna say, yeah, you have 2 embargoes, which is crazy.
let me just put it to you this way: don't get excited, everybody.
Yeah, like there's like a bunch of games coming out. It's like, does he have Monster Hunter? Does he have Like a Dragon? No.
No.
I have 2 Anthony would say, I'll take those type of games. Anthony will hurt himself in some way. Like, I don't know.
I bet in a million years.
I'll tell you right now,
you
I would
couldn't
never
guess
take
them.
Monster Hunter. Yeah, well, I think one of them we've talked about, but on the show.
But nobody's
like,
gonna guess
you,
that we have a copy of that.
The other, and the other one no one's getting. I will say I would never take Monster Hunter because it's not my game, and everybody else would be pretty pissed if I was the one with Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I'll get in the chat and be like, Jay, sorry, Anthony's taking Monster Hunter.
Oh, you're looking for a fresh take. The fresh take is I hate this game.
He will fly out to you and slap you in the face.
Absolutely. I wouldn't even blame him.
Oh, that's fucking funny. All right, Terrence, what you got that you can talk about? Because you do have things.
I do. I don't have a whole lot to talk about, honestly, because I rolled credits on the one embargo thing that I'm playing, so I'm gonna write that review
If
today.
it's like a dragon, you can say it because they gave us permission to say that we had it.
It's like a dragon. So yeah, I rolled credits on that last night. And I'll write the review later today. I was gonna start it last night, but I was tired. I mean, it was storming. It was, lay down in the bed weather, And then the AEW was late, so I was laying in the bed watching that.
Oh, did you watch it
so
last night? I watched it this
yeah,
morning.
yeah, I saw the whole thing. You saw
It's a
you saw
great
all of
show.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. My girl came on top for a time. I love Tony
Yeah.
Storm. I love
She's
her.
awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, so outside of that, I played a lot of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That's it. Like I said last week, it actually is a good game. I got it on Xbox because I was having some issues with the PC version, but that was really just a test anyway. So, but yeah, I got it on Xbox and going through. Ryan, you'll dig these games. And I know why Ken doesn't like it. It's a simulation like game. Like it's very realistic based. To the point where where normal RPGs you can bluff people and say certain stuff and you pick, your responses or whatever. Well, in this, they take into account how you look, how you're dressed, if you're muddy, if you have blood on you. So you can't just walk up to somebody and be like, well, yeah, I got a whole bunch of money, and you got like muddy boots and like worker clothes on and shit. Like it takes all that kind of stuff into account. And I think that's kind of cool. Like it's a very deep, and I know you like that type of stuff, those worlds that you literally can get lost in. And this is definitely that type because they don't give you a whole lot of hand holding. They go over, mechanics of the game and stuff. And then you get to a point where you just kind of set loose with a couple of quests and then it's up to you from there.
It sounds like the developer got to you.
I'm going to try. I've got the original on my Steam Deck. So I'm going to try and play the original and see if I get into it, and then if I do, I'll play that one and pick up the second one down the line when it's cheap.
I think you probably will, because I did after I messed with the second one, because I already had the first one on PC. I went back on Xbox, and played it for like a good. I put 10 hours or so into it. And it's correct because a lot of the stuff that happens, especially the opening that happens to that boy in that game, a lot of the stuff that they talk about in the second one, you're like, oh my god, okay. I was confused when I first messed with it, but now all that different stuff makes sense. But yeah, it's pretty dope. And like I said last week, that developer is an asshole for going after, and it's not even just the developer. That motherfucker is the studio co-founder. Going after people because they didn't like his game, and that's just wild to me. It's his opinion, brother. He ain't got to like it. But yeah, that's despite all of that. He actually is a pretty good game if you like that type of stuff, because it is very realistic. You will die in a couple of hits if you're not wearing the right kind of armor. You have to be prepared for stuff in this RPG, which is kind of nice. Outside of that, I played some Marvel Rivals. I played, I am reviewing this is out, that Warriors Abyss game, which when they showed it at that state of play, I was like, oh, this is more bullshit. And I mean, it's not bullshit. It's Hades with Warriors mix. So you're delving into hell essentially, which is funny because in Hades you're trying to go up, in this one you're going down. So you clear different floors, and then the combat, there's a whole bajillion characters that you can unlock. You start with a handful, and they all have different. No, I'll have to. No, we're not gonna do that.
Ow!
We'll be here all day. I was about to say I'll have to throw something and make some, because it's Ching Chang and you got Ling Long.
Yes, the J.K. Rowling naming convention.
Bro, listen, there's so many people in this thing, and I looked over the list, and my boy Lu Bu is in there. I was like, fuck yeah, but he's at the very top. It's gonna take me forever to unlock him. But so the niche with this is that as you go through these, because it's a roguelite, so as you go through these floors, once you clear them, just like in Hades, you'll get options for the next floor that'll give you different buffs like money or more health or something like that, and then you kind of choose which one you want to go down. But the thing with this is that you get summons. So every floor you clear, you can go to this tree and you choose one of 3 spirits of one of the other warriors that will come and like fight. They don't like fight with you like in a co-op fashion, but they become like an attack. So if you're familiar with the Warriors games, X, Y are your friends, X, 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 Y, X, Y, X, X, Y, that whole combination. Well, in this, it does the same thing. But when you press that Y button for, the offshoot of the X, how many, X hits you put in, it will differentiate, or it will be assigned to one of the summons. So, XY might summon Lu or, Shang-Chi. He's not in this game, but it might summon him and he'll, throw out some fireballs. XXY might summon Guan Yu, who will sweep the thing with his giant, I don't know the name of that weapon, but that spear thing that he has. So it kind of works like that. It's kind of neat. It's like I said, it's gameplay wise, definitely Hades. The whole I think it's very true to Dynasty Warriors because you get an onslaught of enemies, and the combat feels very much like that too. You even have your little Musu like super attacks. You press B and they do some flashy move that clears everything. It's pretty solid for a roguelike game. It was one of those shadow drops at that show. What'd you say?
When I saw it quickly, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty smart." They're doing Vampire Survivors as but Dynasty Warriors, because that would fit.
That's what I thought it was.
So to hear it's more like Hades is kind of weird.
It is, but to play it works because it's just like you're playing Dynasty Warriors, like with your character, and there's, like I said, it's you versus 100 different demon souls or different souls characters, and there's monsters and stuff. Yeah, I know. But yeah, so like you're fighting against all these, 1 versus 1,000 type thing. And it's just from an isometric view. And then like the little gameplay stuff, like I said, is like Hades, but I don't know. It works.
Man, imagine if Dynasty Warriors was a Souls game.
Oh my God.
It would never end.
It would never end. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that would be Lord. Yeah, it's pretty good, for what.
Oh, you died? All 12,000 enemies respawned.
Right, now you gotta start over. Jesus, no, God. I think I played, my usual suspects of card games, but I went really hard to finish, like a dragon, because I thought it was going to be longer than it was, but we'll talk about it next week.
It's one of the. I have not played the game clearly, but it's one of their side ones. I don't think the
like the man who erased his name, is that kind of what they're?
That's what I'd assume.
That's what I thought.
It's using the same assets.
Go ahead.
Some of the same assets from Infinite
Wealth. Yeah. I thought it was going to be like that too, but then I read something and the developer was like, "Well, no, it's actually going to be on par with like Infinite Wealth, and whatever else." And I was like, "Oh shoot, so this is going to be like an 80, 100-hour thing." That's not the case. But again, I'll talk about it next week on how long it took me to finish it. But yeah, that's outside of that. I mean, yeah, no. I'm trying to think, what else did I played some Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter. I need to, get more into that because I gotta write the review. But like I said, I've been
will never not make me laugh,
bruh. I know. It's if you played the first one, it's more of the same. It's a Souls game, but on a 2D. You control a mouse out here fighting the frog army. Well, that was the first game. I'm not sure. I haven't got far enough to figure out what the issue is here, but it is difficult with the combat. You got to block and parry and shit like that. And like he said, stuff will respawn. It's not 1,000 enemies on the screen, thank God. But Geralt does the narration for it, which is dope.
Nice.
And I liked the first one, so I'm looking forward to this one. Like I said, I've been trying to hammer through like a dragon.
I need Sean
Um,
Connery to do the title screen. The Whiskers of
Ah!
Winter.
Well, that's going to be a problem because he's dead.
He's dead.
Yeah.
There's AI,
he's-
Anthony. I don't know if
He
you
is
know about
decidedly
AI.
dead.
Yeah, they could get his voice with the re-speecher. Is that what that thing is called?
I
was
don't
reading
know.
something
There's
about
probably
that.
like 30 of them with different stupid names.
Oh, I'm sure. Outside of that, yeah, no. Oh, I messed with Avowed for like a hot second. I didn't pay for the extra thing because no, I'm not doing that. It's on Game Pass Tuesday. I'm gonna play it then. It's pretty, very pretty. I just wanted to see what the combat and stuff was like, and I like it. I'm good.
I will talk a lot about that game in a little bit.
Good. Okay. Yeah, I like the ragdoll physics. I hit some sort of monster, I don't remember what it was, with a mace, and that motherfucker like rolled. I was like, he went hella far. I was like, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Beat some shit down. But anyways, so looking forward to get more of that on Tuesday, and that's pretty much it for me. Slide it over to Wombat.
That's right.
Word. So I haven't played as much cool shit as these guys have.
And we didn't play a lot of cool
Wait.
shit, let's be honest.
Well, I don't have anything that's fancy and under embargo right now because the thing I'm supposed to have that I was supposed to be reviewing isn't here yet, even though it comes out in a couple days. So I'm trying to finish up Dragon Age again. It's another week in a row where I'm saying that. I haven't had a ton of time this week, so I did play, of course, some more Balatro because I play that every week. And my addiction to it grows further and further. I played a mobile game that is, I guess, a couple years old. It's not new, but it's new to me. It's called Minute Rogue, and it's a single developer, and it is the most simplistic game that exists. You just basically press the right side of the screen to move to the right and the left side of the screen to move to the left. And you hold the right side of the screen or the left side of the screen to attack when you come up against an enemy. All the enemies do the same attack. They do this like little jump forward that hurts you. But you can dodge it if you kind of know when it's coming, and that they all have, consistent timing. So you can kind of count the seconds off in your head to time out. But you basically just keep walking right, killing enemies, and getting yourself stronger. Every five levels or so, there's a store where you can buy better equipment and stuff. When you reach an enemy or a boss that you can't kill and it kills you, you go all the way back to the beginning. But you keep all your stats. You don't keep your equipment. That's run by run. But you keep all your stats. And so the goal is just to get to level 100. So I'm up to, I think, level 65 or something like that. And then for a super simplistic game, it's pretty neat. Like, it's a neat little time killer. You can't expect anything fancy, but for a free little mobile time killer, it's a pretty good time. I also played. So speaking of free mobile games, I also played the sequel to Archero. I'm not sure if anybody played the first game, but the second game is made, I think, by the same guys that made Survivor IO. And it's got a very similar vibe, and it's got a very similar sort of free-to-play scheme to it, with all the same sort of timers and currencies and all that shit. But the actual core gameplay is similar to like a Vampire Survivors or a Survivor IO, except that as default, at least, you have to stop moving in order to attack. And so, you can get additional little monster guys that shoot for you, or you can, get a power that detaches your weapon and it fires for you automatically, but it reduces the damage that it does quite a bit. And there's other sort of upgrades and stuff that you can get. That's another, decent mobile time waster. It is way more. It has way more mobile free to play gotcha traps in it. The Minute Rogue doesn't really have that. It just has ads every now and then that you can watch, but even then you don't have to watch them. But yeah, I mean, so those two small little games I've spent some time playing this week. The interesting one that I played this week that I have to talk about is I played the network test for Elden Ring Night Rain, which is the new sort of multiplayer game in the Souls universe. If you haven't seen it or heard of it, the best way I can think to describe it is it's basically From Software Fortnite, in that you drop into a map and actually you come gliding in, just like you would in Fortnite. You come gliding in on a spectral bird thing. It drops you into a Elden Ring style map, obviously not as big as the normal Elden Ring map, but pretty significant in terms of size. It has a storm like Fortnite that is slowly closing in on a location, and so the game's kind of shepherding you to that location. Basically, you run around and kill enemies and kill sub bosses and stuff to increase your souls, which will let you spend them to level up or spend them at some of the vendors that you'll find sort of scattered around. And then you kill sub bosses or mini bosses to they basically give you a selection of 3 things, and usually it's 2 weapons and a power upgrade, and you pick one of the 3 that you want. You can only hold so many weapons, so you got to kind of be a little judicious with what you pick. And then the game, so you're going around killing enemies, killing mini bosses, powering up, and then every close to 15 minutes, the storm really centers in on a location, and you'll fight a boss. And the bosses are pulled from all the From Software games. So there's, bosses from Dark Souls, bosses from, all 3 Dark Souls, bosses from Elden Ring, bosses from, all the different From Software Souls games. And so you kill that boss, and again, you get, a power upgrade, and the storm recedes. And it says, so that's the end of day 1. And then day 2 starts, and the same thing plays out. The storm starts to shrink in. You got to make your way around, leveling yourself up again until you run out of time, and the storm shrinks to a very small area. You fight another boss, you beat them, you move on to the main target. So before you jump into a mission, you select a target. Now in the network test, there's only one. It's a 3-headed wolf monster thing that looks and plays kind of like the Red Wolf of Radagon, if any of you guys know. But it's 3 heads basically. So that's how the gameplay plays out, and the goal is to beat the target, and that sort of ends your run. There are 4 different in the network test. There are 4 different classes to pick from. I think the main game's going to have 8. The classes determine your starting stats and stuff, and they have different abilities. So every class has 2 different special abilities. One of them's triggered with left trigger and Y, and one of them's triggered with right trigger and Y. The right trigger and Y one's your big super damage dealing one, and the other one's usually got some utility to it. So like the one character has a grappling hook that you can like shoot across and pull yourself across and swing your sword. Um, yeah, and it plays in terms of the way the combat works. It's very much like Elden Ring. It is basically Elden Ring's combat engine in this sort of Fortnite style PvE game. It's three player co-op at once. So you got yourself and two other characters. There's no hand holding or rubber banding or anything like that. You could spread out all across the map. Obviously, the game is much easier if you all stick together and work together, but you don't have to, which was evident yesterday when some of the people we were playing with were just running off to the ends of the earth while we were trying to track down a boss. The other cool thing is like um, you can get invaded by Morgott, who's one of the characters from Elden Ring. And if you beat him when he invades you, it basically gives you more time. The storm basically recedes a little bit. If you don't beat him, you lose a level. You get like de-leveled basically. So that was kind of cool too, because he can come out of nowhere. Um, there are different like little like bubbles or whatever that'll pop up out of nowhere where you'll get a whole bunch of enemies spawning out of them too that you have to watch out for. Yeah, it's really really cool. It's I'm not a big um, Fortnite person or
Don't
battle
believe him.
royale
Don't
game
believe him. He
person.
flosses all the time.
Well, that's different. I do that to make bills. Um,
What?
the but
he's got to fuel up that jet and.
That's right. How do you how do you think I got it in the first place? Um, the but no, I'm so I don't play those games really, but it's a neat implementation of it, and I could see it being pretty fun to play with friends. The one sort of issue I have with the network test is that the way that you play with friends is very similar to Elden Ring, where you have like a passcode that you put in, and so when you do matchmaking, it tries to matchmake you with another person who has that same passcode. So like if we said, if three of us wanted to play together and we made ZTGD Radio the passcode, well, chances are, because nobody listens to this show, that nobody else is going to have ZTGD Radio as their passcode. So it would look when it's matchmaking for anybody else who has the same passcode and put us all together. That's how it's supposed to work. That's how it works in Elden Ring. It does not work in this network test at all. My son and I were trying to play together, and it would not match us no matter what. And we had a very unique password that certainly nobody else had. And it would not match us together. And as soon as we took the passcode off, it matched us immediately with other people. So I think that piece is broken for the network test, at least. So hopefully they get that piece sorted out, because it's going to be really frustrated if the game comes out and you can't play with your friends, when you want to. But other than that, from just like a core gameplay standpoint, I think there's going to be a lot of people who really, really get into this game in May when it comes out. And it's quick. You can do a full run if you manage to survive, right? And the way you die, basically, I should have mentioned that. It is like Fortnite, where if you run out of health, your character gets knocked, right? So you fall down and you're like crawling, and your teammates can come over and hit you, and that'll basically revive you. But there you have like a revive health bar that they have to get down to 0, and the more times you've been knocked, it increases that all the way up to 3 levels. And once you get up to the 3rd level, especially if you're fighting a boss, it is very difficult for somebody to hit you enough times to revive you without getting crushed by the boss. So there is some strategy in terms of, it is difficult to come back to life if you get killed too many times, especially during a boss fight. So
Back to life. Back. Oh, sorry.
that is not a reference I was expecting today. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think there's going to be a lot of people that really enjoy it when it comes out in May. It's certainly going to have a stranglehold on people, but like I said, 45 minutes for a run is nothing. So it's definitely a game you could invest a whole lot of time in, or a game you could just play in short spurts. So I'm definitely more excited for it after having played it than I was previously. And the network test is still going. If you guys have codes and haven't for some reason checked it out yet, there's only one session left though, and it's tonight from 10 p.m. Eastern until 1 a.m. Eastern. The timings for this, and I understand, it's a Japanese game and most of the players are probably Japanese, but the timings for this on Eastern time were awful. The network test started on Friday at 6 a.m., 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., and then 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., and then Saturday from 2 in the afternoon to 5 in the afternoon, and then today 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., and then 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. So
this was a Bandai test, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Yeah, that's common for them. Like oh my God, that's exactly what all their playtests are, because I do the ones for like the anime games and shit that they be having. They always do those wacky times. Yeah.
My assumption is it's all based around trying to make sure they line up with Japanese time zones, which I completely understand. But it did certainly crimp the amount that I could play, at least of the network test. My son, even though he was off school on Friday, woke up at 6 a.m. so he could play. But I'm old, so I had to work on Friday, and then today there was no way I was waking up at 6 a.m. to play it. So
get good with your sleep schedule.
Apparently,
I'm intrigued. I actually want to play it. I don't want to. I'm not gonna mess with the test, but I may check it out.
I think Terrence, you will really like it.
It sounds cool.
It's neat.
My only concern, and that you didn't say anything about it, so maybe it wasn't an issue, is that, I play those online games and lag is certainly an issue. I feel like in that game it would be a bigger one because I got to block and parry and dodge. Like, did you have any sort of lag issues when fighting anything? Like,
no lag whatsoever at all.
Good. Okay. Good.
None at all. I didn't have any scenarios where I felt like I got killed because the network screwed up. I certainly had plenty of times when I got killed.
Right.
Because the bosses are tough, man. So like the bosses in the network test, and they're gonna have more obviously in the full game when it comes out. But the bosses in the network test are like Demi-Human Queen and the Demi-Human Swordsman together. The Centipede Demon from the first Dark Souls. What's the Draconic Tree Sentinel from Elden Ring, along with two other like cavalry members that you come up against. Morgott is one of the bosses. I already mentioned the three-headed wolf thing, and then there's a bunch of sub bosses like golden hippos are in it. There's the lions from Elden Ring are in it. There's a fire chariots. There's a bunch of sort of sub bosses in it as well. But it's supposed to be even more expanded when it comes out in full.
Yeah, I'm intrigued, and I think it's only like $40 too.
It is.
So
that's
like,
right.
I'm intrigued.
Yep, and it does have some permanent power-ups that you can collect that are relics, I think is what they're called. So you can, collect those after you finish runs, and you can permanently power up some of the characters with those, which is another neat little wrinkle. Like I said, if they get the friend matchmaking worked out, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, because that sounds like no. And maybe
Yeah.
they just did that because that's what they had, and they were like, well, we just want to test out the network, so we'll go with this. But yeah, launch it'll be a real one because like you should just be able to invite, from Xbox Live or PlayStation Network, like just like
Yeah.
that. Like
FromSoft though, in any of these Souls games, has never done that. That's never been the way they've handled playing with friends. So I don't know that will happen. I just hope that the method that they have actually works.
got you.
But yeah, and that's it.
Okay. So we can run through some quick ones here that I played. Metal Suits Counterattack, which is a side-scrolling action game, and you get like these power-up weapons, like a Gatling gun, a flamethrower, grenade launcher. It's like pixel art style. It's very outlandish as far as like the design, but it's also very gory. A lot of chunky pixels when you're blowing people. It's a pretty fun game. I had some fun with that. Reminds me of kind of like Broforce, like real fast paced, like just killing everything in front of you kind of thing. It's a cool game. I play so Tomb Raider 456 remastered, which is a funny name because
What is it called?
Tomb Raider 456 remastered.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't
okay.
only one of them numbered?
None of them are numbered.
Oh, none
Yeah.
of them are numbered. I thought number 4 was numbered. Isn't that
People
right?
called it 4, but it was just called
Yeah,
Tomb
okay.
Raider: The Last Revelation.
Okay, because then it was what
Chronicles
or something like.
Chronicles
Yeah, and
was
then-
like the Ocarina of Time of Tomb Raider, where they just kind of took all the old shit and just
You mean Majora's Mask?
sorry, yes, Majora's Mask, where they just
Okay.
kind of took all the old shit and just made it a new game.
And then Angel of Darkness or whatever, right? What is it called?
Angel of Darkness
PS2
is considered one of the biggest flops in video game history. Like, it's...
Didn't that kill the studio?
Oh yeah, that
Didn't
studio
that kill
died
4?
after that. Yeah.
Probably meant they were dying already, and that was the Hail Mary.
It's such a weird thing because The Last Revelation, the only reason anybody paid attention to it, because everybody was burnt out on Tomb Raider back then, is because it was the first one that came out on Dreamcast. So, like, everybody's like, oh my god, look how good this looks on the Dreamcast. Last Revelation is fine. It's totally forgettable. Like, there's just not much to it. Tomb Raider Chronicles is a weird game. Like I said, it just feels like they took a bunch of stuff and mishmashed it into... Because, like, doesn't she die at the beginning of that one? I can't remember. Like...
Probably, I don't know.
And you play as young Lara at the beginning. It's just a weird game.
I don't think I played that one.
Yeah, that, like, nobody cared about Tomb Raider when Chronicles came out. Like... And then we get to Angel of Darkness, which... Holy shit, this game is just so bad. And... You know, I give Aspyr credit because these remasters are good. Like, being able to swap back and forth between the old style, the new style. Like, they did a lot of work in rebuilding these games. The modern controls are still funky because Tomb Raider was never built with modern controls in mind. So when you try to use them, it feels weird. But holy shit. If you want to feel the absolute frustration of the PS1 to PS2, like, era of changing over into games and shitty tutorials, play through the tutorial of Angel of Darkness. It is one of the slowest, most frustrating, most non-cooperative tutorial you will ever play in your entire life, and I can't believe anybody continued playing after that tutorial. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, everything stops for a solid 30 to 45 seconds while it tells you to push the analog stick forward towards the pipe to climb it.
Oh shit,
Is
that's
she
bad.
It's
Is she
really bad.
in a building or like a house or something at the beginning of this game? Like, is this where the tutorial takes place?
In the beginning, the tutorial of Angel of Darkness takes place in like an alleyway in like Paris, I think.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah. I'd never. I was trying to remember the last thing I played of that game. I don't think I made it. I passed the tutorial. So,
Yeah,
I did. Okay.
I can
All right.
understand why people never made it past tutorial. I made it 3/4 of the way through this game back on the PS2. I never finished it because at some point, it's no spoiler, you play as a different character. You play as the
I
dude
did not know
from
that.
you play as the dude from fucking Dark Sector with his little glaive. It's fucking hilarious. But he, like in the game I was playing, I can remember this vividly. He fell down in this like hole, and I could never get back out, and the game saved there, and I could never finish the game. Like,
Damn.
that game is buggy as shit. It was always buggy as shit. It's one of the worst things you'll ever play. It's like, it would be in the video game museum as like, this is how you completely destroy a franchise and a studio. Yeah. Like, it's so bad. And I get, like, Core didn't give two shits at this point. Like, they had been forced to make, 5 Tomb Raider games before that, and they really only wanted to make, like, 1 or 2. Like, if you look at the history of Core, they make great games, and they usually make 1 or 2 of them. They don't...
Project Eden.
Yeah.
Project Eden's so good. So creepy, too. Jesus.
There's so many good games from Core, if you go back through their, like, early catalog. Like... And then they made Tomb Raider, and everybody's like, it became a phenomenon. So, Eidos made them just keep making Tomb Raider games, and I don't know. It almost feels like that game almost feels like they were just like, you know what, we're gonna kill this franchise. Watch this, and and I see people say that that's like their favorite Tomb Raider game, and I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like that game.
I've never heard anyone.
It's like somebody
say
just
that
being
is
a
their favorite.
contrarian.
Yeah, like that game is not good. It's never been good. Credit to Aspyr, they did what they could. It looks pretty good. Like I haven't run into any glitches, but then again, I haven't played a ton of it because it's just so frustrating to play. So I don't know, man. I love that it's available, that you can play these games, but like there's nothing in this collection that's like, oh, you got to check this out for posterity. It's like that first trilogy, yeah, you should check that out. Like those 3 games are fantastic. After that series kind of just went to shit. At least until, Crystal Dynamics took it back over on the Xbox and PS2. All right. Indie stuff, nothing really stuck with me. I did play through entirely a game called Hole Theory, what was that game where you had the hole and you were like eating up the town like Reverse Katamari?
Donut County?
Donut County.
Donut County.
Reminded me of that,
cool.
but it's just like you're collecting like voxels. And the puzzle is that there are different colored voxels and you can only collect the white ones. I'm not going to tell you to go buy this game because I beat it in like 20 minutes. But I did beat it like in one sitting. Like I just kept playing it for a straight 20 minutes. I also was watching a YouTube video this weekend and somebody mentioned a game called Rogue Flight, which you can clearly see why I skipped it the first time. But it did own it. And little did I know that this game is just like straight up Afterburner or Star Fox. And it's really kind of good. So like I played through like the first level of that, and it is very much like a Star Fox game where like you got the people coming in on the radio telling you how to do a barrel roll. Like it plays like Afterburner, it's real fast, and you can like pick up missiles. It's really cool. Like I think it came out last year. I don't remember. Played some more Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Mostly because I was testing that Victrix Pro KO fight stick. Man, that fight stick is really nice, but my brain just cannot do it. My brain can't do it. I tried.
For the youth.
I could pull off moves, but like I ran the timer out on every fight that I was playing because my brain was trying to like figure out how to do moves. So like I kept like trying to jump, but the jump button is like below it's weird, man. So if you're thinking in your brain, your like attack buttons are exactly what you think, the 3 across the top, 3 across the bottom. That part makes sense. But like to move on the left side, it is, if you can imagine, 3 buttons at the top, and then like if you're holding your hand out, your thumb is like the button underneath. And you would think that would be duck, but that's jump. That's up. And then the buttons on the left and the right are back and forth, and the button in the middle is down.
And you're playing on Xbox?
Yes, I was playing.
I would change the entire setting of that controller.
But I was like trying to think of like if I did it with up at the top, then if I go to do like a fireball motion, then I got to do it's, and my brain is just not comprehending pressing buttons to do movement. Like, I'm sure it works for like a PC player because they're used to using the WASD kind of thing. But like when you're playing a fighting game and you're trying to do like a dragon punch combo with your 3 fingers, like my brain just breaks, man. Which sucks because that stick is like super high quality. It feels really good.
Oh, it's
to
not
play
even
with.
a stick, really.
Yeah, we'll call it like a board.
Yeah,
It's more like a
arcade
board.
pad.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Like I know a lot of people get into these, but like my brain could just not wrap it like around like how this works.
Well, I know why people get into it because there's no travel, right? Like you don't have to.
Yeah, it's just
move an actual
instantaneous.
stick. It's just,
yeah. I don't know, man.
But it is counteractive to counterproductive in comparison to how we've learned how to play video games.
Yeah, like my brain just could not fathom it. Like just trying to do the moves. Like I'd do a fireball and then I would duck and slowly move backwards or something. Like I don't know. I look like your dad trying to play Street Fighter. Is what I look like when I was messing with this board. What the hell? That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Anyway.
What?
So I pull up my Xbox app to look at the games I played because most of them I play on Xbox. And like as I was talking about Marvel vs. Capcom, it just disappeared off my list.
I'll be taking that one back.
Yeah, that was a little crazy. All right, so the last 2 things that I played last week, and I can finally talk about. So I played about an hour of South of Midnight. And
What is this?
So this is the new game from Compulsion Games. It's the.
Let me rephrase that. What type of game is this? Thank you.
It is an action adventure game.
Interesting.
Third person with kind of more slower, methodical Devil May Cry combat areas where like you go in, it locks the area off, you got to kill so many enemies before you get to move forward. It is... The combat feels good, but at first it's a little hard to understand what's going on and how you need to tackle it because the enemies will come at you from all angles. But once I got the hang of it, probably like before I finished the demo, I was able to like juggle enemies pretty easily, and I really enjoyed it because like they'll have different. So you play as Hazel, who's what they call a Weaver in the game, and she gets like these powers that you can use. One of them is similar to like a scorpion spear. You can throw it and pull enemies towards you to attack them. You've got another one that's like a bola where you can wrap them up in a web. You've got another one that like pushes them away. And like you combine these and fight these different enemies. Some of the enemies will like throw projectiles at you. You can ping them back towards them. You've got enemies that are like they're very color coded. So like when they're red, you can attack them. When they're yellow, they're winding up for an attack. Some of them spawn ads, which is a little frustrating at times. But it's usually just 1 or 2, so it's not really a big deal. They're kind of like flies, and you can just one-shot them, so it's not hard. But I think my biggest concern coming into this game was that Compulsion is, after We Happy Few, we thought we were getting BioShock and we got fucking Tree Puncher instead. This game, this game looks like a third-person, over-the-shoulder action-adventure game, and it's exactly what it is. The characters are fantastic. The demo let me... If you've seen any of the trailers, you see the big catfish. The trailer takes place of you rescuing that catfish, like the first time. It's like chapter 3 or whatever. And you go and you do this story. So the way it works is like you'll start to uncover this story about somebody from this area, which this is all based on like fairy tale style Deep South lore. And like the first story that I uncovered was both like really disturbing and uncomfortable. but it was really well told, and like you slowly unlock what happened in the story as you go through, and you pick up these memories and you see them, and then at the end you get your resolution, you get to resolve what happened to this person, and then it unlocks an area for you to move forward. And it felt really good. Like the jumping, the movement took me a couple minutes to get used to, because Hazel feels really heavy. So like when you jump, it feels like she's kind of pulling down a little harder, but she does have a double jump and a dash. The wall running is really cool, because like when you're running on the walls, you can use the right stick to move up and down on the wall. I'm trying to think. Like the voice acting is really good. I like the stop motion look of the game. It makes it very unique. And I've heard in the final version you can turn it off. I'll give you an example of how much I like this game. This demo did not give you the ability. Like, it's so funny because, I always go into the settings and change inverted controls for up and down. This game, if you go in the menu and you try to do that, it says work in progress, so you can't do it. So I played through this whole hour and a half with the controls uninverted. I was enjoying it so much that I just got over it and like just dealt with it. So it's really good. I'm really excited to play it when it comes out. It's going to be $40, and if it's even, like this is chapter 3. I think it took me an hour. I don't know how many chapters the game is, but I'm really excited to see what else you can do.
It's $40?
Yeah, it's
wow.
$40, and it's on Game Pass. So
good for them. Okay.
Yeah, like this game I think is going to be a sleeper hit this year, because what I played of it, I could not wait to play more. I actually went back to play it, and they've removed the version that we were playing, so I couldn't play.
Is this going to PlayStation? I don't remember if this is.
They haven't said yet. I assume at some point every game on Xbox is going to PlayStation, but
okay.
Like,
I'm excited for this one. I read your thing. It sounds good. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm like 100 times more excited for this game after playing an hour of it than I was. So, and then the last game I played, I've been playing for almost 2 weeks now, is Avowed. I've beat it. I rolled credits. I played through this game. I really like this game. There's a lot of conversation about this game online. And I think it's the wrong kind of conversation. Like, most people kind of went into this game expecting, an Obsidian game, which this is probably their best game that I've played, at least since KOTOR 2 or New Vegas. Like, those games were really good. This game feels really good. Like, I really enjoy the combat. And not just one aspect of the combat. I enjoyed all aspects of the combat. So you're not locked into one style of combat. You can choose to play with a dagger. You can choose to play with guns. You can choose to play with magic, two-handed weapons, one-handed weapon. You can have two things, one in each hand. So like you could have a grimoire in your left hand and a pistol in your right hand. And then you can set up two of those at a time and switch between them just by pressing the Y button. So it's kind of like a quick swap. I know nothing about Pillars of Eternity. Like, I have never played one of these games, so I don't know the lore of these characters. But in this game, you play what they call a godlike. So there are different gods in Pillars of Eternity, and they spawn off what they call these godlikes, who at this point in this game they're rare. So like when people see them, they're not common. So like, oh my god, it's a godlike. And the godlikes take on the features of their god. So for example, if their god was like a deer, like your character would pull on like antlers kind of thing. And they also have like these weird things on your face like that look like fungus or something. I don't know Pillars of Eternity. But Obsidian understood the assignment. The companions in this game are very reminiscent of something like a Mass Effect, to the point where literally the best companion, in my opinion, in the game is Kai. You know who he's voiced by?
Oh God, who?
The guy who did Garrus.
Oh,
nice.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
So it's
That's
literally Garrus having conversations with you throughout most of the game, because he's the first companion that you get when you first get to the island. I love that this game. So I know Wombat, you were concerned about it being zones. The zones are very big, and they feel really good to explore. Like there's not like little things all over the map saying you should go here, you should go here. It's kind of like a hand-drawn map, and you'll see something, and you can go explore it. And a lot of times you'll find some really cool shit over there that's not necessarily pointed to. And I enjoyed that because I stumbled across a lot of really weird things in the world that were really fun to explore and dig into. The map uncovers as you go. You'll unlock fast travel points, but I did find that using the fast travel points was only really good for me when I was trying to get to a mission. The rest of the time I wanted to explore, because like I said, there's a lot of areas where you can go and just find things on the map and do them. You can do these little sides, which is crazy because like every character in the game is voiced. So, like, you're going to get, like, an involved story every time you find something. Now, granted, some of them are going to be a little recycled, kind of like in Elder Scrolls, where you see kind of the same face model again. You might hear the same voice again. But you kind of expect that in these kind of RPGs. I'm trying to think what... Like, Terrence, you said earlier, it's a very pretty game.
Yes.
Like, visually, I love the design of a lot of the areas. So it's not like it's all the same kind of area. Like, you'll run into a desert, there's a snow area, there's a lava area, there's like a forest area, swamp areas, water. Like, you can swim, you can go underwater and swim. The upgrade system is very much at your own discretion. So, like, you have different tiers of, like, do I want to upgrade my warrior or my rogue or my wizard? Your companions all have upgrades that you can choose to do. It has the wheel like in Mass Effect, so if you want to make your characters do their abilities, you can do that. They will do them on their own, but you can actually activate them yourself. You can set your abilities as well as your companion abilities to your hotkeys, which is the D-pad. The game does run in first and third person. I preferred third person just because it let me see my surroundings a little bit more. Combat feels weighty. The negatives on this is, like I said, some of the like armor is not all that exciting until you get later in the game. I felt the economy was a little broken. It feels like it makes you want to explore more. Like after 10 hours of running through story missions, I still didn't have enough to buy like one weapon. So I feel like maybe I needed to like break down stuff or sell stuff more often, because I'm terrible about hoarding. I'm a hoarder in these kind of games. So eventually I started selling stuff and breaking stuff down, which gave me some more money. I was able to buy some pretty cool gear. I did find some pretty cool gear if you explore the world. There's also camps that you can set up where you basically can chat with your companions, unlock like their companion quests, learn more about the environment. You can craft here. You can cook recipes, which give you buffs. You can enchant your weaponry at these places. So, like, those are really nice to just kind of sit back and kind of go through that. There is, like, story choices. Like, so depending on if you have more might or more intelligence, you can have different responses and conversations. Some of the things I did early on in the game did come back towards the end of the game, but it is very much like a Mass Effect where a lot of it is an illusion of choice. Like, I made this choice, so this conversation went this way, kind of thing. But it felt organic, even if you can see the tinkerings underneath of how this stuff is working. I'm rambling on here. Is there any like thing specific about the game?
Yes, I have. I saw somebody posted online that said that it just was lacking. They felt like it was lacking RPG elements, I think is how the words that they used. And you know, I didn't really understand why. And they posted a video clip of someone saying, or somebody reviewing it on YouTube, and they were talking about how, you know, in Skyrim you can attack random guards. You can attack all the people. You can knock things off a table. You can do all this type of stuff, but you can't do that in this game. To my knowledge, they always said that this was not supposed to be like Skyrim. This was supposed to be more like the Outer Wild or Worlds.
Yes.
Outer Worlds?
Yeah, Outer
Worlds.
Worlds. Yeah.
More like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did that type of thing, did you feel like that was a problem? Did you feel like you were missing something because you couldn't go and attack a guard? Which, before you answer, I don't understand why that's such a thing. I don't fucking play these games to beat up the guards, to knock over a fucking cup on the table. Like, what the fuck are y'all playing these games for? Like, that was like the people that were talking about, you can't shoot the fruit. So I spent $60 to shoot some watermelon? That's what you bought this game for? Like, y'all are weird. Anyway, sir, back to the question I have for you. Did you feel like that detracted anything for you? Did you feel like you were missing anything because you couldn't do those type of things?
Me personally, no, because I'm like you. Like, I'm here for the story. I get why people enjoy things like that because they want to feel like the world is open and alive. But I find a lot of I find a lot of times that stuff like is detrimental to me because I'll do some outlandish shit and then like I have to deal with it.
Yeah, Terrence, I'll answer your question because generally at least maybe on my my first playthrough or my first 10, 20, 30 hours in the Elder Scrolls, following quest lines and stuff like that. But one of the things I love about those games is that if I want to start a new character and just be a bandit, like just be a guy who waits on the roadside for random characters to walk by and then kills them and steals their shit. Like, you can do that. If I wanna be somebody who avoids combat almost entirely, not entirely, but almost entirely, and just runs like just does blacksmithing, right? And decides
I was glad you called it blacksmithing. I was like, where are you going with that comment?
I guess in my case it would be whitesmithing. But I like the one of my favorite things about the Elder Scrolls games is the freedom that they give you to just do whatever you want to do. And I know that this is not an Elder Scrolls game, but that's when people say it's missing some of the sort of RPG freedom. I think that's what they're talking about, is the ability to just, yes, the game has a story, and yes, the game has, beats that you can hit if you want to, just get the content that's being presented to you. But the Elder Scrolls games are organic enough that you can make a whole game out of the stuff that isn't necessarily fed to you on a silver platter. And that's, by the way, when I go back to Skyrim now, I never play any of the missions or anything. I just goof around with stuff.
Fuck around in the world. Okay.
Rob people, yeah.
There's a lot of people that do that. That's the Grand Theft Auto thing. Yeah.
That's cool. I get that. That's another level of role playing is what I think that becomes.
Yes.
And I don't think, I don't know. I guess to me that's just weird, just because this game is presented and has some similar elements to be like, oh my God, why can't I do all of this type of stuff? Well, it was never presented as such. And to mine, I don't think there's that many of those types of games that you can really. Well, I guess there really is.
There's a handful of them, but there's also a lot of games that are considered RPGs that don't, like, you can't just
That's my point.
Yeah, you can't just run around and kill whoever in Mass Effect, right? Like, it's
right. Exactly. Yeah. Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy is another one.
These are still role playing games. So Skyrim, Elder Scroll, all that. That's another level. Baldur's Gate 3. That's another one that you can do that type of stuff. That's another level to role playing games, I think.
Yeah, I think though the difference here is that Obsidian has made that game before, right? They've made with Fallout New Vegas, they've made the type of game that's that sort of Bethesda style of I can do what I want when I want kind of games. So by the way, I know that they never said that this game was supposed to be Skyrim and all that stuff, but come on. You can spend 10 minutes looking at the game and understand where its inspirations come from. It's I think I understand that they never said that it was going to be a Skyrim game, but it is, I think, a little bit disingenuous for them to be
Legally
surprised that
distinct
anyone expects
Elder
it to be like
Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls. It's it's pretty obviously inspired by the Elder Scrolls games.
Great value Skyrim.
Yeah, but
Now, see, I'm not going to go that far, Anthony.
This game is
but I-
really
Value has some
good.
great
Like I don't,
products.
yeah, like
I think I think it's, I'm not going to say that Obsidian ever promised that it would be like an Elder Scrolls game, because you're right, they didn't do that. But I think it's a little bit disingenuous to not understand why anybody would expect it to have some of that stuff in it based on the way it looks.
I guess I disagree with it being disingenuous because I listened to what the people say. And that's a big part of what I don't listen to. I don't try to discern what you mean when you're talking to me. I listen to what you say. And they said not to expect those things. So I never was going to expect it. So, but I guess if nobody ever did any of that and they only played Skyrim and then saw a picture of this and was like, oh my God, this is like Skyrim, then I guess, okay. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm telling you, I think there's a whole lot more people who are going to see clips of this game and think, oh, it's Skyrim, than the number of people who have listened to every Obsidian interview over the last 2 years and heard
You're
them say
right.
that that's not what it was.
yeah. Well, you should, yeah. That goes to like you should probably like read about it then. Like,
Right. I was going to say that's then on you to inform yourself. So that
there's a
was
lot
you.
of games that look.
What do you
like,
do when you assume?
Well,
You know what I mean?
I agree. You're right, but I mean, again, I think we're giving them a little too much credit if we assume that this game looks like Skyrim if you watch the trailers. If you don't think that's purposeful, so that they can sell more copies of this game, I mean they're clearly they're clearly capitalizing on a visual structure. I'll say it
Sure.
that way.
Yep.
And they're going to sell a lot more copies of this game because people who see it in passing think it's Skyrim. Then they're going to sell copies based on their developer interviews. Well, they're not going to sell any copies anyway because it's on Game Pass.
Oh, they sold
You
a
know what I
shit
mean.
ton. It was the top selling game on Steam.
Just don't buy it on Battle Pass. So you
Wow.
won't be able to play it on Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And to be fair, I think if you're going to buy this game for a Steam Deck, you're probably going to buy it on Steam. If you're buying
Yeah,
it, is what I'm saying.
If you're buying it.
Yes,
yeah,
if you're buying it, you're going to buy it there. But yes, I assume they'll fix that eventually. But yeah, this game is weird when it comes to like because it's available on Battle.net. Apparently, you can only cloud stream it if you have NVIDIA.
Yeah, it's goofy.
Like
and again, it's especially goofy. I think like if it was just it's on Battle.net with Game Pass, and you can't play it on Steam Deck. If that was the beginning and end of it, it would be like, okay, yeah, I get it, right? The Steam Deck's not built for Microsoft shit, and as much as I wish they would have a native Game Pass app and make their stuff work on there correctly, it doesn't, right? But World of Warcraft works through Battle.net on the Steam Deck.
yeah, but
So
it's not official, right?
No, but it works.
Sure.
It's all Battle.net is a launcher, right?
Mhm,
And all
yeah.
the Steam Deck is a smaller Linux PC. That's it. That's all it is. So if I can get World of Warcraft to launch on my Steam Deck because the Battle.net launcher works on Steam Deck, there's no reason that another game that I have through Battle.net shouldn't work. Shouldn't work structurally. I'm not saying shouldn't work because the specs of the deck aren't strong enough to run the game. This game doesn't work because the executable literally won't work. Because it's I don't know, calling out to some server somewhere that doesn't like what it sees.
Executable? Executable?
Whatever.
I guess.
Listen, Anthony, I'm of a generation where I had to type that word out specifically, and where I had to do a lot of stuff with exe files manually to be able to get shit to run on DOS. So I'll call it whatever I want to call it.
We've earned that right. No, I
I just
understand.
want to make sure, since this podcast has been known to call me out on shit.
Never.
Never. Sure.
No, I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, I don't expect anything that isn't officially supported to actually work. Like, I feel like if there was a native BattleNet app on the Steam Deck, I would be like, okay, well, why doesn't this work? But I tried to boot a fucking demo from the Next Fest on my brand new PC, and that shit just made a black screen. So like and that shit's just straight Steam. So like I don't know why that didn't work. I can't. My brain. PC games drive me crazy sometimes. Like something so simple. Like there's a new game. I forget what it's called. It's like something towers. I can't remember. It's like a boomer shooter, and they sent me an email, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go check this out. So I downloaded it. I get to the main menu. I was like, oh, this looks cool. Hit start game. Screen just goes black. I can't even exit the game. Like I have to hard cut it. And I tried it 3 times. Like I don't get this.
Yeah.
So no, I understand. I think this game was great. I loved it. I don't think man, I've seen people out there giving like 9s and 10s. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, Paris.
Listen, I'm excited. I'm excited to play it because it looks like a game that's 100% in my wheelhouse. I will admit that there's some probably personal bias from me, because this happens too often for me with Obsidian games, where they, and like them or love them, hate them, whatever. Obsidian makes great games. They do, but again, just being real. They are a studio that is built basically entirely from the ground up on other people's shit.
They always have been, yeah.
Either building games directly in other people's universes, or building games that are very similar to other people's universes. And I start to get annoyed by the fact that I feel like every time Obsidian comes out with a game that looks just like somebody else's game, they're like, oh yeah, but it's not that. Like you can't look at this and tell me that you can't look at Pillars of Eternity and tell me you think it's, Baldur's Gate. It's not, right? It's not. It's its own thing, right? Outer Worlds is a completely different thing from Fallout. You can't go into Outer Worlds expecting Fallout. And it's like, you can only do that so many times before it starts to kind of get on my nerves a little bit. Not at the people playing the games, at the people making the games, because it always feels like there's this like wink underneath it. Like, oh yeah, no, it's not Skyrim. It's not Fallout. It's not a BioWare game. It's our own thing. We'd like people to, like, when in that 140 questions or whatever it was thing where the guy's like, do you want people to compare this game to Skyrim? And she's like, well, I'd like people to compare other games to this. And it's like, come on. There just feels like there's a wink underneath that like, yeah, we understand that all the games we make are really just different versions of stuff that other studios have made, but we don't want that over our head. And you can't have it both ways. I'm sorry, you just can't. And I love Obsidian's games, but you can't have it both ways.
I don't know. I just enjoyed the game.
I admit that that's a personal bias on my part, but it just seems like every time they come out with a game, there's this bullshit associated with it. Actually, the only one I can remember that didn't have this bullshit associated with it was Alpha Protocol.
And it flopped.
Right. Right.
So give them credit for learning that lesson.
Right. They've spent their entire, like, the studios spent their entire existence being like, we're like BioWare, but not. Any of the positive things you think about BioWare, you can think about us, but any of the negatives you think about BioWare, you can't. And any of the positives you think about Bethesda and their games, you can think about us, but any of the negatives you can't. Or any of the things that would require additional scope that we're not willing to put in, you can't. But all the positives that you have, all the positive feelings you have associated with those games, feel free to put those on us. We love that.
I'll be honest with you.
Not any of the expectations or the negatives.
I think I like Obsidian more now than I do BioWare.
Well, it's not the same BioWare.
I know.
Right?
I know.
I mean, it's not BioWare's not BioWare anymore.
No, it's not. It hasn't
So,
been since fucking what? Dragon Age Inquisition,
I
maybe.
feel like Obsidian more than the
No,
corpse
before
of
that.
BioWare that is being worn by the people that killed it.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know.
I'll agree with that.
I
I'll
just,
agree with that.
I like.
Although most of those people are still making games, so
I think my biggest issue with all of this is there's so much conversation around Avowed, and very little of it is about the game itself.
no, it's true. But again, this happens a lot with their stuff.
And this is a really good game. Like, you have Game Pass, you're going to get to play this game just in the service, and it's really good. And I feel like we focus so much on other stuff that, like, sometimes that gets lost.
I agree with you completely, and I hope that the game is excellent. I plan on playing it, and I hope that I really enjoy it. Same way that I have enjoyed the other games that I've played from theirs. They just, like I said, get on my nerves sometimes because I feel like they want all the positive associations that they can get from making these games in other people's universes or somewhat thinly veiled replicas without any of the negatives, and that gets on my nerves.
No, I get it.
This isn't Fallout, it's Stumble On. Come on now.
Stumble on.
Oh,
actually.
but no, everybody should check out Avowed. Don't spend the $24 or whatever. Just play it when it comes out. Like, I don't even know what's in the deluxe edition. Like, I think I got an extra outfit for each of my companions, which, by the way, is like it's not worth it.
It's just outfits and an art book. It's not even like DLC.
Yeah, it's not worth that. No, I think most of the, like, I don't like that I can't equip my companions, but I was fine after a while. I was like, I just stopped because you can only take 2 of them with you at a time anyway. So.
You mean your companions like the Nargonian and the Khajiizant?
Man, I don't know nothing about Pillars of Eternity. I can tell you there's like snake people and like furry people. Like, I don't know, man.
I know, I'm just kidding. At this point, I'm really just trolling more than anything else.
Oh, anyway.
I don't want it to sound like I'm not interested in the game. I'm definitely interested in the game, and I'm very interested in playing it for myself, especially because in addition to loving the Elder Scrolls games, I also really loved Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, which this game looks a lot like as well. So
the magic in this game, I had a lot of fun with the magic in this game. Like, I feel like that's my preferred play style in this game.
Yeah, I got to mess with that, the grimoire and like the wand. That was dope. Like actually like picking the spell and casting and shit. I was like, oh
you
yeah,
can you can literally just put points in those spells and use them without a grimoire as you go through the game.
Nice. I kind of liked having the book though. That was kind of dope. I don't know. It made me feel like
like my favorite little detail is like when your spell's on a cooldown and you try to cast it. My character would like flip the pages in the book. Yeah.
Yep. That was cool. Yep. Yeah, that was neat. I'm gonna fuck with the magic. Like, yeah, I'm gonna mess with that on Tuesday.
Man, I'd love to tell you about some of the later game stuff I got because it's fucking rad. I love that game.
Speaking
is there
of
mounts?
Messiah,
no, there's no mounts. No.
Okay, all right.
Speaking of Dark Messiah, Ryan, remember me to send you a link. A new mod just came out for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
Yes,
when you say Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, you know what the first thing that comes to my brain is?
I don't know.
No.
Kicking people.
Oh yeah.
Accurate.
Like,
yeah, that's a big part of that game.
Yeah, I remember kicking motherfuckers all the time in that game.
Oh, off the cliff.
Yep, right off the cliff.
I don't know that any character in that game has been killed as many times as that like orc dude that was standing at near the beginning of the game, where it's clearly trying to get you to kick him off of the like wood plank ledge.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That dude's probably been killed more than any character in any game ever.
Oh man.
Yeah, this was like it adds co-op and a bunch of the 360 stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
I still have the 360 game.
I think I might own that game on GOG, but I don't know. I'll have to look.
Oh, anyway, that's it for me. Looking forward to some of the later releases, like Yakuza Pirates. That looks like fun. So
I do not own it on GOG. All right, well,
let's talk about what's coming out this week. It's a pretty good week. We got Avowed coming out for regular people. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage Tape 1. Cabernet, Like a Dragon, Pirate, Yakuza in Hawaii. PGA Tour 2K25, and Please Be Happy. Sounds like a message for the game industry.
I would love to tell you all about PGA, but
Berserk Boy is coming to PlayStation this week, which is awesome.
Great game, play it.
Stories from Soul, the Gun Dog, X Out Resurfaced, RPG Maker with, and Whisker Squadron Survive. I'm sorry, Whisker is just a funny ass word to me. I don't know why it's such a funny word. We got like mouse pilots now.
Mouse pilots.
I mean, what else would Whisker Squadron be?
Mice can do it all.
Yeah.
Sounds like it sounds more like cat pilots to me, but could be mice.
And there's a game coming out this week just called Damn.
Sounds about right.
It's even got an exclamation point. It's all capitalized. It says Damn. Oh goddamn! All right, let's do the Switch games. Oh, some good ones this week. Woo! We have Fashion Store Simulator. That's fine. Bee Flowers. That's fine. Anime.
Bee flowers.
Bee Flowers. Like it's
like BEE. Okay. Yeah.
Anime Dance Off Space Party.
Okay. Sounds very similar to what was the Space Channel 5.
Oh yeah, chew.
Michael Jackson was in that.
He was in the second one, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, Real Hentai 5. In case you missed the first 4, catch up.
I feel like that goes against the term hentai.
What?
Being real.
It's very real. It's a culture.
Culture I don't want to be touched by. Keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah, wash that off. Pro Wrestler Story. I bet that's quality.
Pro Wrestler Story?
Pro Wrestler Story. Oh God. Oh. It's a game.
Pro Wrestler Story.
Go ahead.
Is like Pro Wrestler Story is a simulation game where the player takes charge of a wrestling organization with the focus of training different wrestlers through different physical routines. Player can acquire different specialized equipment to improve the physical conduction of the wrestlers so that they can achieve a better performance in the matches. Training equipment ranges from treadmills to weights in order to improve the strength and performance of the wrestlers. So it sounds like it's what do you call it? What are those games where you tycoon style game?
Oh, like the baseball tycoon game. Yeah.
Looks kind of like it. It's of course very pixelated. People do things like say "Warg" and "Heck yeah."
That sounds right.
Yeah.
All right. This last game I'm going to mention is called Wet Whispers Anime Shift Puzzles.
Okay.
Don't Google
I prefer
that.
not to learn any more about that.
Oh, don't Google that. Oh, that Ninja 5.0 remaster's coming out next week. That game is great. All right. Let's do the news. News.
That was a beautiful song.
Thank you. Xbox. The next Xbox left the early pitch phase, according to Discord. And quote, I've recently been told that Xbox's next-gen hardware has moved past its early pitch stages and has been fully approved and costed all the way up the chain. Okay.
But I thought the Xbox was dead.
Well, hold on a minute, because this story made me think of something. If we remember back in the day when like a new console came out, they kind of start working on the next one like right away, right?
Yeah.
So like if it's just now been approved, if it just goes into production now, or like is it like 7 or 8 years away? Like
Well, they were too busy getting Activision.
I don't know. I think it's all bullshit. I think that if
I-
they're gonna make another console, like I don't have any question about that. I believe it will come without a disc drive, but I think that's gonna happen for both of them. If I'm being
Oh
honest,
God, let's not start that conversation again.
well, that conversation will come back later. I'm just telling you what I think. I don't agree with it, but I think that's what's gonna happen. There'll be new
corporations
Xbox.
taking a free opportunity to be shitty.
That's what they do.
I see that. Yeah.
We talked about PlayStation Plus. We get 5 days of additional service and a donut. PlayStation 5 shipments have passed 75 million units. Sony's planning to release more family-friendly games after Astrobot's success. It's crazy, almost like you should have been doing that for a while. Astrobot got 5 new levels over the next 5 weeks, which, by the way, I tried that first one. Man, that shit's hard. So I don't even know who the bot is yet, because I couldn't beat it yet.
I got to go back to Astrobot after.
God, I just want them to bring
Dragon
it to
Age.
PC. I have a feeling it won't, but
We'll see.
only because the amount of licensing.
Licensing would be, but it's all their. Well, no, it's not all their shit. I guess
That's not all their shit. If it was all their shit, there wouldn't be a question of it. But
I could tell you that I love every time they add a new level, I go back to it. Like this level was wicked fucking hard.
Wicked had.
Wicked hard. I'm gonna have to go back to it and see if I can't be, because it's one of those levels that's like you got to do it in one run. Like there's no checkpoints. Ugh, it's hard. PlayStation Plus games for the month. We got Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Top Spin 2K25, Lost Records, Bloomin' Rage Tape 1, Saga Frontier Remastered, Mordhau, 10 Hearts, Somerville, Anthony's favorite game.
what a piece of shit.
And then classic.
From the creators of Inside. Yeah.
Half of the creators.
There it is. Yeah, exactly. The one that doesn't understand video games.
Classic games include Dropship, United Peace Force, and Patapon 3. And then they announced coming later this year Blueprints, Abiotic Factor, all 3 Armored Core PS1 games. Yay! The PSP can now do WPA2 Wi-Fi networks. Cool, I guess. Sony did have a state of play. Let's run down that. You have no idea how hard I laughed when that thing kicked off with Monster Hunter Wilds. Like, that game is a whore. It is just everywhere. Like, the game is out in like
That's
12...
one way to describe a multi-platform game.
But I mean, it's 12 days away. There are 2 betas with a 3rd one happening. How much do we need to see?
It's Capcom, man. It's Capcom and it's Monster Hunter. Like they of course were gonna put that thing out like a show pony everywhere they could.
Well, that pony has been ridden a lot. Let's just say that. Next up was the continuation of the Year of the Ninja Shinobi Art of Vengeance, being developed by Lizard Cube. Is that? I think that's right?
Yep.
I'm there.
Looks good.
Yeah. Another game I'm there
Cube's
for.
my shit.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. Another game I'm excited for is Sonic Racing Cross Worlds.
Yep.
That game looked good.
I'm gonna play it, so it doesn't matter what it looks like.
I'm gonna tell you this, Anthony. I don't know if you haven't seen Sonic 3 yet, right?
No.
I watched it this weekend. Oh man,
Yeah.
it's
listen.
real good.
I don't know what happened at Sega, but suddenly they're making good Sonic games. So
And
making good Sonic properties and
dude, the post
giving a
credits.
shit. It's almost like giving a shit matters.
The post credits.
Yeah, except that the next one is fucking years away.
Yeah, but you got when you see who it is, there's more than one. Can't wait.
Well, I mean, just out of you saying that, I can almost guess who it is. So
I bet you can't. I bet you could guess one of them. I bet you couldn't guess it because I was shocked when I saw it. I was like expecting something else. Anyway,
yeah, we'll talk after.
Yeah,
we'll talk after.
We can talk. Digimon Storytime Stranger. I'm not gonna lie. When I thought Digimon, I didn't even know it was still a thing.
Yeah, they had two Persona-ass games come out for the Vita and PS4, and then there was like a. They went back to World, which didn't go over great. And then there was the last 2 years there was another one that I cannot remember the name of.
This is the first one that's coming to Xbox, I think, too.
Tactical game mixed with like a oh god, visual novel? I want to keep saying graphic novel, which would have been accurate too, but
okay.
Yeah.
Digimon visual novel. Okay.
Yeah, with a tactical game. Like, so it's...
Yeah, that's what I think of when I think of Digimon. I don't know, Digimon, back when Pokemon was huge, always struck me as like the GoBots version of Pokemon.
I know very little about either one of them, so Pokemon hit a little too late for me.
Bruh, there's a Pokemon joke in the Sonic movie I just remember, and it's fucking hilarious. That movie was so good. Alright. Lost Soul Aside, which is another one of those games that's being published by PlayStation, but it's being made via the China Project, I believe is what it's called. I couldn't tell if it was a Souls game or like a Devil May Cry style game, but with the word soul in the title, you know.
Yep.
New trailer for Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Another collaboration for Dave the Diver with Ichiban's Holiday.
Terrence, I'm sure, was excited by that.
Yeah, but I think it's only on PlayStation.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, I think it's on everything that game is on.
Oh, is it? Because the little thing I saw only had it listed for PlayStation.
I think that's because that was their trailer. I think it's going to be on PC and Switch too. So
cool. Then yeah, I definitely will be playing that.
I would be shocked if Sega did an exclusive with PlayStation. Like Sega's been like everywhere,
especially when that series is on everything.
Yeah.
Now,
but Xbox.
No. Like a Dragon's on Xbox.
Oh, you're talking about Yakuza. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about...
No, Dave the Diver's never coming to Xbox, because Xbox is dead, Terrence. You know this.
Yeah.
It's dead.
We got a first trailer for The Island for WWE 2K25.
Give me a fucking break. I swear to God.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I'll hold my judgment, I guess.
Come buy your fake goods.
There was whole list of the brand names is going to be there, like Jordan and all.
Wait,
my fucking God, y'all are...
I'm gonna crack up the first time I run into Jake from.
I was just about to ask if Jake from State Farm was going to be there.
As an independent contractor, you might need insurance.
Yeah, give me a break. I mean, again, presumably, although I'm learning not to expect anything, presumably I'll be playing it in a couple weeks, so we'll see how it goes. But
what were we talking about? Oh, we're talking about it's Jake from State Farm.
Yeah, we're talking about that.
He's gonna show up on the island and drop a stone cold stomach. That's probably what's going to happen.
Oh, goddamn. It's the day.
And his khakis. Yeah, I don't know. The island...
Oh, now he dropped.
Oh, now he's
laughed.
Oh, now he's back.
At the island thing.
It wasn't like... It was presented by Paul Heyman? He came out for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a Roman Reigns. The whole game is centered around Roman Reigns this time around.
But why is there a dead man version? I figured it'd be centered around the Undertaker.
Because
they always do that.
Yeah, because the last one had It was who was the last one? The WrestleMania thing.
Cena? Was it
Yeah.
But I
Cena?
think there was a side thing.
The
That was
last
one
one was
before.
WrestleMania. Yeah,
Okay.
they did a Dead Man one a couple years ago too. I don't know. I think they just try to come up with famous people to attach, and Taker's probably the easiest one. So, yeah, I don't think it'll have anything to do with him, but
The Hogan edition was on the table, but they were like, you know what? Maybe let's not do that one.
they saw how roundly he got booed at
Dude,
the
I
Raw
would.
debut on Netflix.
Can you imagine
We're
if
not gonna
like
do
the
that.
box art was him spray painting that in the meme?
That would be funny. Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh
What a
Terry.
piece of shit that Hulk Hogan.
Right.
Anyway.
All right.
Yeah,
Next
WWE. Anyway.
Next up was Randy and Randy showing us Borderlands 4.
Are they brothers? I didn't
care about
understand the
that
reference
No.
there.
Yeah.
No, they're both first named Randy.
Okay, all right. Because I didn't know. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like
That's the sense of humor Randy Pitchford has.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
well, and that's
he's-
the whole like it was supposed to be funny, and I was like, dude, this isn't funny. Like,
That's
just show me the
Borderlands.
footage.
It's supposed to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, and I may skip this Borderlands. I think,
dude,
I'm done.
after
I
3,
think
I'm
3
out.
killed it.
I'm out.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I'm done.
3 killed it for me.
I really did not like 3, and it was broken at launch, so that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever. Split Fiction got a new trailer. That game continues to look cool. It's not that far away.
Yeah.
We had a trailer for a game from the Dark Pictures series called Directive 8020, which looks cool.
Oh, the horror thing. Yeah. I want to play that.
Yeah.
We don't have enough like space horror games like that. Like, I'm
A new Five Nights at Freddy's, The Secret of the Mimic. We got a trailer for a game called The Midnight Walk, which looked really cool.
Mm-hmm. Is that the claymation?
Yeah. Like the creepy match. It's like
Yeah,
that
that
thing.
did look cool.
Darwin's Paradox, which is another what do you call those? The floppy physics games, looks like. They're octopus.
Yeah, it looked kind of like that sort of Octodad, Human Fall Flat kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
thing.
a Konami game, which is crazy. Warriors Abyss, which Terrence talked about earlier. New trailer for Onimusha 2, Samurai Destiny. Onimusha Way of the Sword. It's fine that you put another trailer in here, but like, this game ain't coming out for like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't need to keep seeing it. Like, I like it really got angry about this whole like announcing games way too early thing this week, because I'm just like, and it really struck me when you thought that one game was Judas, because I'm like, Judas was announced like 2 years ago or some shit, and
Yep. And it wasn't Judas. I was like, oh wow, okay, I guess fuck Judas then. It's
Yeah.
coming. All right.
You remember that? You remember that game at the Game Awards like 2 years ago that was like 1950s UFO soldiers fighting from like 2K?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What happened to that game?
Damn, you're right. I don't even remember what that one was called.
Like, Jesus Christ, man! Stop announcing these games so early.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, and then they announced it early, and then it gets like reworked and turned into something. Because like there was that story I think we talked about last week, Wonder Woman, or it might be this week. I don't remember.
Yeah, no, Wonder
how
Woman
that
we talked
was announced
about
forever ago.
Yeah,
And then Everwild is another one where I think I read this morning that Phil.
yeah, he mentioned that
interviewed
game
somebody.
this
Yeah, like Progress
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, Progress is still working on that, and like that game was announced fucking what 4 or 5 years ago. Like
Yeah,
wow,
with a trailer.
forever ago.
With like a fucking
Yeah.
trailer, and like they're showing the game off, and it's like, well, what is this game? Like, well, I don't know. And guess what? We
Crazy.
still don't know.
Nope. Like yeah, we need to stop announcing stuff so early. It's not necessary.
Dude, when was Fable announced? Fuck.
That's another one.
Yeah.
But that is that this year? It's not. This
They
year.
claim
Supposed to be this
supposed
year,
to be,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Perfect Dark is another one.
Yep.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot they were making another Perfect Dark.
Yeah, they've actually shown
Yep.
gameplay of it finally. It only took them like 4 years to show a 3-minute demo.
That's one that Anthony and I also disagree on.
You don't like those games, right?
I don't know. I like Perfect Dark.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
understand why we need another one.
Oh, I totally want another one. I love those games. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater trailer with a release date, which was nice. That game is weird. Like, how petty do you have to be that you won't let the Ape Escape mode outside of PlayStation and PC?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fuck's sake.
But that's
man.
also par for the course with them. So, that's what they do.
Next trailer was Hell Is Us, which I thought was Pragmata.
Yeah. Which we haven't seen in a while. See how we kept getting...
Yeah. It just keeps coming back around. Pragmata was announced like 3 or 4 years ago, too.
Yep.
I don't know. This game looks cool, but that dude's hair was sending me, man. He got crazy curls. Like, keep your hood on. DLC for Liza P, which a lot of people seemed excited for. Dreams of Another, which was the new Pixel Junk game, which looked like a visualized acid trip. That game looked weird,
It looked very weird. Yeah.
It did. Yeah. That's the one where you shoot things to put them together, right? Not tear them apart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it did look weird.
Boy, this one lit up some conversation. Days Gone Remastered is coming to PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I've never played that game.
I've played that game.
It's not really my style. It's not my style, so
I mean, it is like if you fed Sony's like style of games into an AI machine and said make one about a biker, that's what you get.
Yep.
Like, there's nothing wrong with the game, but it didn't need a remaster. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know of any of Sony's games that they've put a remaster on has needed a remaster.
Right. None of them did, but they just needed a check, I guess. So, because it's not necessary. Like, Days Gone still looks good.
How much of a check do you get from a $10 upgrade?
I guess they're thinking about $10, times the however much that game sold. I have no idea. And PS5's out there. They're like, yeah, we can make a little bit of money because it probably wasn't super hard to do. You know what I mean? I don't know what all they did, but I don't know.
Man.
It's a bit much.
Like, I feel like PlayStation just ain't got shit to talk about right now. Otherwise, why do a Days Gone remastered? It's just.
Yep. And then there's that too.
More DLC coming to Stellar Blade for something called the Goddess of Victory Nike.
That's a
that's a mobile game, right?
Game. Yeah.
Oh, good. So more useless
crossover.
DLC for
Stellar
Blade. That last DLC pack was ass. I'm sorry. How do you do
Know what
it was Nier Automata.
Okay.
Like how do you do a Nier DLC that sucks? Like, well, they did it. Blueprints, which is coming to PlayStation. They call it available with Game Catalog Day 1.
Game Catalog.
Yeah, they can't call it Game Pass. Game Catalog. But legitimately the same wording as Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Available Day 1 in Game Catalog. Abiotic Factor also coming to Game Catalog. By the way, I'm pretty sure Blueprints and Abiotic Factor are also coming to Game Pass Day 1, which is fucking funny to me.
They are. Yeah. I saw that. I'm excited for the Abiotic Factor. I reviewed that on PC, and Xbox is my preferred platform, so I'm looking forward to jumping back into that game.
The next game shown with Tides of Annihilation, which the more I hear about, the more excited I am because it is a straight action game.
Yeah, I watched the trailer. They had like a longer breakdown of that. Yeah, I'm excited.
Also, it was live on Xbox this weekend by accident. Like, you could just straight up buy it.
Oh, wow.
I don't think the game worked. I think it was just like one of those placeholder 300 megabyte things, but it still showed up
Yeah.
as purchasable, and the price was $22.50, which is fucking weird.
Oh, that is weird.
I wonder if you bought it at that price, do you like get to keep that?
Nah. They'll refund the money and take the digital rights or whatever. Like, that'd be
Probably.
dope if they did let them keep it. Like, that was our bad. You guys lucked out. Good job. Like, that'd be cool. But they're not cool. Let's be honest.
They're not cool. I mean, to be honest, like how many people probably bought it? Like maybe 5,000 people at most.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, just do it. Like, you're not gonna take that much of a loss. Like, and that's some goodwill. Like, that's you being cool. But they're not that cool. So
That's going to be the description of every corporation now. Like, man, that'd be cool if you did that, but you're not that cool.
yep. You guys aren't that cool.
Metal Eden, which a lot of people thought was the new Bungie shooter, but it's not. It's a fast-paced science fiction first-person shooter.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I did, yeah.
Then we had Mind's Eye. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember that one.
I don't either.
Mind's Eye is the one that looks like Grand Theft Auto,
Oh, the one from
damn,
Leslie
that's the one I want.
Benzies,
or
right?
like Cyberpunk, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Or
What I
yeah,
want to play.
Semi-futuristic, cyberpunk-ish kind of Grand Theft Auto looking game.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's
Now I'm
coming
back
to
on board.
Xbox.
I remember that one now. And then the last
looks
game,
good.
the last game was Soros, which is essentially Returnal 2.
Which is what I thought it was, and they were like, "Psych, it's a successor to Returnal, or spiritual successor." Well, okay, yeah.
Like, there was a lot in this state of play, but like, there's not a lot for just PlayStation. Like, I think
No.
there's only 2 games that were on this that are not on other platforms, which is crazy. Maybe 3 games, and a lot of repeats. I know before the show, like, people were like, "Oh man, we're going to see this and this and this," and you saw none of that.
None of it. No, oh my God, the stuff that people were talking about that they knew was going to be there, and none of that was there.
The Mind's Eye. That's the one that's the people that used to be at Rockstar, right?
Yeah, Leslie Benzies.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Bends.
Yeah. I hope that game's going to be good because it sure looked pretty neat.
The
Same.
thing
Yeah.
is like when they showed it, like, I didn't believe that they were going to try to put it out this year because I think they just started that studio a few years ago, and they claimed
I
it
don't
was
know.
out summer 2025, and I was like, whoa, okay.
I did not know that. I thought it was next year.
No,
Okay.
it said summer 2025 right in the trailer, and I was shocked.
Well, hell yeah. Okay.
I hope it's good. You know what? I hate to say this. I don't want to put this into the ether. I don't want to put this out in the universe.
This said they started that studio in 2017.
Oh, maybe they just went public in like the last
It
few
says-
years.
So this says numbering about 30 staff by January 2017. Royal Circus Games renamed to build a Rocket Boy in October of 2018. So I think they started in 2017 and changed their name in 2018.
Gotcha. Okay. Like I said, I didn't want to put it out in the ether, but it kind of gave me some vibes of the trailers for Rockhay City.
Oh,
Really?
it looked better than Rockhay City.
Yeah. I mean,
No,
I
the
feel like
trailers for Rockhay City.
Man, I don't know. Rockhay City seemed like a B movie from the very beginning.
Because of the people that were in it. If you watch that trailer for
Yeah,
Mind's
there's
Eye, some of them textures ain't all that grand. Like, they look
Well,
kind of rough.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope it's
it
fun.
is also an open world game. So
I'm fine with it as long as it's fun. I just, like I said, it's just a vibe I got. I hope I'm wrong. I love being wrong.
You got a job lined up at Digital Foundry? You inspecting background
I zoomed
textures
I zoomed
an
in
open world game?
4,000 times to show you that Aloy's eyeball is not high resolution. I want you to know
She's
that.
missing 6 veins in her left eye, or blood vessels in her left eyeball.
Oh, shit.
4 out of 10 confirmed.
Capcom added another 24 hours to the second weekend of the open beta test 2 for Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yep, thanks to the PSN outage.
This weekend, yeah.
Yep.
Yuji Naka just updated his 8-year-old mobile game, Pirates of Coin, which is a funny sentence to say in 2025.
Yeah, that's what I was just getting ready to say. Yeah.
Man done got, like, indicted and shit. That's fucking funny. Resident Evil 5 got rated for Xbox Series. 6 got rated earlier, as did 7 and 8 and some other shit. I don't know. Well, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, people are, like, talking about these games being rated. I really think it's just going to be like a 4K upgrade or something. I don't know. According to Yuji Horii, Dragon Quest XII is still in full development. New information will be released little by little. So basically, fuck you. You're gonna have to wait.
Yeah, you ain't even released little yet.
I was about to say, like, damn, nigga.
How about we get to the little?
Nah.
The logo doesn't count.
We showed you the logo, right? That was the little. You got the logo.
You will also save at a church.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
That's all you got right now. You get more updates in 2026. This was announced right before the State of Play, so I knew Death Stranding 2 would not be at the State of Play, but Hideo Kojima is going to be at South by Southwest on March 9th to do more details on Death Stranding 2. Shift Up pissed off all the PlayStation guys by saying they think the PC version of Stellar Blade will sell better than the PS5 version.
I think that's perfectly reasonable to assume.
Yeah, there's a few more computers out there than there are PlayStation 5s.
A couple.
Right, like people. God.
That seems like if it runs, that seems like it would also be a good game for the Steam Deck.
I'd be interested if that ran, because that game is pretty demanding. So, Elden Ring Night Rain will have a poison swamp for all you masochists out there.
No real surprise there.
Jean Reno said he would be pleased to reprise his role in Onimusha 3 if Capcom ever wanted to do a remaster.
I saw that, yeah, and I was like, oh, cool, yeah, they should do that. But I think, because the other dude that's in that game with him is also based on a real person, right? But I think he's passed away, that Japanese.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They all three were based off of real people, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, and you're right, Terrence. One of those actors has passed away. I think you're right though. I think it is the one
that was in 1 and 3. I can't remember what his name is, but
I can't remember his name either.
But yeah, I loved 3. I would love a remaster, or even if they just kind of prettied it up a little bit and put it back out, because it's not on any of the other systems. And I mean, they got 1 and 2 out now, where 2 is about to come out. So
I'm very curious how they are going to differentiate Onimusha in 2025.
2026.
Or 2026, sorry.
That trailer they showed like actual gameplay, and I like, because I don't know, it just looked like, and I'm not knocking it for this at all, but it looked like kind of Ghost of Tsushima type style, but I'm fighting samurai zombies.
Man, I just hope
the whole thing about the original, right, was that it had that sort of fixed camera
Resident Evil style.
Like Resident Evil meets Devil May Cry kind of thing going on. Yeah. And I'm just not sure how they make the game stand out in 2026.
Onimusha, the first one, was originally a medieval Resident Evil game.
Yes, yeah.
I remember that. Yep.
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I mean, they did it with God of War, right? So the God of War was a fixed camera game.
That's true.
And when it came out originally, and they sure did successfully reboot that franchise. So
I mean, Capcom did it themselves with Resident Evil.
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
So
yeah, they made that into a first-person game.
Yeah. and a third-person over-the-shoulder game in the remakes. So
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna play Onimusha. I liked those games, but you're
I
right.
did
I am
too.
curious how it's.
I just
Well,
wanted to have the goofy characters from the original. That was charming to me.
Yeah.
There were some really goofy ass like demons in those games.
You know what? I feel like it probably will though, because they still like the Resident Evil still kind of has that. Like the shopkeeper in Resident Evil 8. I can't think of his name. Like they all have kind of
What are you buying?
characters.
Yeah, I'm not gonna count Capcom out.
No,
The only thing I
Capcom
count
Capcom
Capcom
hasn't
out
missed
for-
recently. So,
But yeah, the only thing I count Capcom out for at this point is Mega Man Legends.
Mega Man Legends 3. Yep, that's it.
no, you could have stopped
We
your
never
sentence.
did that.
You could have stopped your sentence after the words Mega Man.
No,
Yeah,
y'all get another Mega Man. We
Yeah,
never
when?
get Mega Man
How
Legends
long do you
3.
think Mega Man? It's been since Mega Man 10 was out.
I know that it's
Well,
been a
11
long
was the last
time.
Sorry, 11. Yes.
How long has it been since Onimusha's been out? This is what I'm saying.
A
You
long
gonna
Mega
get
Man
another
sold
Mega Man,
more
my
than
dog.
Onimusha and Mega Man
I am-
Legends. Just
I am
saying.
incredibly confident that we'll get another Mega Man, but we will
Thank
not
you.
get another Mega Man Legends. Although I saw that the prototype build of Mega Man Legends 3 was one of the options on the GOG Dream Game
Mm-hmm.
survey. So
I mean, it makes
least
sense. You only put out.
somebody knows there's interest in it.
I mean, it makes sense. You should only have Capcom working on good games. Like,
This motherfucker right here. Anyway,
At the very least, give me a collection of Legends 1, Legends 2, and Tron Bonne with reworked controls.
what about Mega Man
I'd be cool with
64?
I never
Well,
played that.
that's similar enough to Mega Man Legends. They would probably put that in there too.
I like how he says put it there with like updated control. Yeah, because that control was ass.
Well, I mean, going
It-
back to it, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
even back then it was ass.
Yeah, I didn't mind it too
Fucking
much back
turning
then.
with the fucking L1 R1. Ugh. What are we
Listen,
doing?
you were playing games with tank controls back then. Don't talk to me about how shitty that game was.
Yeah, that worked better than the
we were
fucking
playing.
turning
We were
with
playing. We were playing Tomb Raider, where you had to
Oh,
count
God.
back the number of back steps
Steps,
for Laura
yep.
to do before
Fucking
she
right.
could jump to the next platform.
You have to
Yeah.
line it up. Oh God.
At least I wasn't
Yeah.
sending spiky-haired Mega Man into the Costco
Yeah.
to buy a porn mag.
Stand on this box and backstep, but don't backstep too far.
Nope.
Turn
just
one quarter turn to the left,
a quarter.
and
Yep.
then
Out of full.
Do this jump.
You know,
and
if
Laura
you're
will just catch the edge.
if your brain
have to do
can't
the
handle the
side jump.
geometry, you know that sounds like a you problem.
If you do anything different than that, even by a pixel, she'll fall to her death.
Yeah.
You'll die.
That's,
Yep.
It's called get good.
Congratulations. Spend the next 15 hours doing this.
Yeah, get good. You know, don't come at me because you got problems.
Oh man.
Ready at Dawn co-founder explained why Sony probably never wanted to do an Order 1886 sequel. He says he believed the Metacritic scores was too low. Mock reviews were higher, but it ended at 63. He believes they cut too much stuff because they needed another year.
I never played that game. I only read the reviews. Was it good?
It's
Was
fine.
Okay.
You should.
The thing
you
I
should,
remember was that it was overly hyped,
Yes.
and it was, as far as I understand, super short.
Extremely short. You could beat
I
it in
remember
one
that.
sitting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh God. Wow.
It's like
Okay.
3 or 4 hours. It's very short.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
But it was a
wasn't it
full-price
also on
game.
Rails too? Like is it?
No, it's
that
a
one?
cover shooter.
Oh, it's a. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Damn.
About werewolves.
Damn it! Just take me to the fucking. I hate when Google does this shit. Like, continue your search. Fuck your search. I gotta look this up now.
Actually, I think that's a pretty good motto for Google.
Yeah.
Fuck your
Yeah,
search.
but don't bring up a side menu and ask me to like just search it, bitch. No, you can beat the main story in 7 hours. Completion is.
That could also be a pretty good slogan for Google.
You can beat it in
Google.
7
Coming
hours.
up with, you sure you don't work in marketing for Google?
You don't. Shh, be quiet. Don't tell anybody. Yeah, 7 hours to complete the main story. 10 and a half to do everything. It's very short.
Wow. Okay.
What else we got here? Bobby Kotick's out here saying the only bad acquisition for Activision was Bizarre Creations. Fucking dick.
Project Gotham?
Yeah,
that's
Geometry
them.
Wars, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's because they didn't make him Call of Duty fuck you money. That's why.
Right.
Well, they paid for it with their studio's life.
Unfortunately, that is true. I miss Bizarre Creations. Like, every game they made, I liked, I think. So.
Yep.
I even liked The Club. Whatever.
They
Oh, yeah, I did like that. That was cool.
Yep.
Dynasty Warriors Origin sold 1 million copies.
Great.
That's good. Yeah.
Glover finally got a release date for consoles. It's out February 27th, so pretty soon. Scrolling through here. Yeah, as we mentioned, Metal Gear Solid's release date's August 28th. I think that might be it for the main stuff. Pull up one more here real quick. Yeah, most of the rest of this stuff we covered in the State of Play. So, good on those. Try to see if anything else happened after that. Interview with Okami sequel. Kamiya decided to create Clovers after he left Platinum. Co-developed by Machine Head Works. Will use RE Engine. Kamiya also said he wants a reboot of Nintendo's Virtual Console, which is funny. Phil Spencer interview went up. There was a lot of stuff out of that. Mostly, the comment that's floating around is he said he's done trying to bring people like on PlayStation and Nintendo over to Xbox. He just wants people to be able to play games from wherever. And of course, like people got mad about that comment, and it's like Jesus Christ.
They're still Xbox soldiers fighting in the trenches, Ken.
Like, why?
They're fighting in the trenches, man. The war's not over.
There's no fucking war.
Yeah,
like they're literally just out here fighting nothing. Like what are you?
There's no
I don't
war.
understand, y'all.
It's not a war. It's a plastic
it's a
box. Like who cares?
Just because you're not a committed soldier, Ken.
No,
Who's
I'm just
the general.
I'm just a
this war,
consumer, and I said this on Twitter the other day. Like
He's faceless, nameless. The general is.
I don't give a fuck.
Also, he does commercials with Shaq.
How many consoles you've sold? I don't give a fuck how much money your company has made. All I care is that you give me some good games, and as a consumer, my ass is going to be subscribing to Game Pass, so I don't have to spend $70 on a goddamn video game.
I swear I've been there since the beginning. Like I'm not going to defend the corporation. I'm a consumer. I'm not a stockholder. I just need y'all to make sure my stuff works and it's fun, and I will purchase it from you. Like I'm not about to fight for y'all. The fuck I look like? The world? Like y'all are wild out here.
Like them dudes doing them 3-hour spaces over that PlayStation State of Play. I'm like, dude, bro, let it go.
Yeah, like I just don't understand.
Like I watched it. I was like, there's a couple cool games here I want to play. I will move on with my day.
Mm-hmm. No, they immediately went to a space. All right, guys, we got to break it down frame by frame. So what do we think Sony's real game is here? What do we think is going to happen? Like, what the fuck? Like, have you ever dropped in on any of those spaces? Like, they literally sound like that. And then they start beefing amongst themselves, and that's when it gets really fun. Like, I'll be about to leave because I just pop in, but then niggas start fighting. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, they go on each other. Like, I'm like, oh, wow. They about to drive to his house. Like, they about to fight for real. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't understand. Like, y'all don't even get along with each other. Like, what the fuck?
I don't understand it at all. Like, I see these dudes fighting over this stuff. I'm like, how does this affect you?
Right. Like,
I don't.
Again, if you're a stockholder, complain. You should. Sony ain't got, they releasing no games, complain. Because you own fucking, 5% of the company. I get it. But you, niggas sitting in front of your TV that's just spending $60 on a video game, shut the fuck up. Like, what the world?
And then you play Doom like that. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. Oh my God. I have never
Motherfucker playing Doom
in
like
my
a
life-
cover shooter. Like, what are you doing?
Oh my God. He was moving so slow.
Like ducking,
lining up shots,
hiding behind
ducking.
corners and shit. I'm like, what are you
Oh.
doing, dude? That's not how you play Doom.
I've never seen somebody play Doom like that. Oh my God. That was,
I know, but I
and
think
then he left it up. Why would you put that up?
yeah, but the funniest part was like he was like, "Look at me playing Doom with solid 60 frames per second on my PS5 Pro." I was like, "Bitch, that thing ran at 60 frames per second on a PS4."
Right.
Like, what are we? It ran at 60 frames per second on the VCR, on the Xbox One VCR.
But go off, guy.
Yeah, be proud of that $800 that you spent. That's cool. Mine's got a shitload of dust in it. I'm really sad.
Well, you ain't got nothing to play on there, so you know.
I keep going back to Astrobot. That's about it.
Yep.
All right, we got some games leaving Game Pass. Yakuza 3 and 4, Gree, Wolong Fallen Dynasty, Paw Patrol World. Better message, Drew.
Better message.
Maneater, F1 2022, Space Engineers, and Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun. All right.
Okay.
That's all I got there. So I got an email, and I want to apologize to listener Jeremy. I thought I read your Game of the Year stuff, but I must have missed it. So he sent it to me in an email. So I'll read it here. He says, "Hey guys, I think my tweet, post, whatever thing for Game of the Year got lost in the shuffle, so I'll try here. Honorable mentions goes to one of the most amazing games I've ever played in the last decade, Baldur's Gate 3. Man, what a ride. Music, voice acting, so many different ways to solve a problem. Definitely landed on my top 5 of all time. But since it's 2023, I can't put that on the list." His list has 3 games, and they're numbered 531, just so you don't get confused.
Nice.
He says, number 5 is Prince of Persia. That game was such a kick to play. The risk of moving forward and hoping to find a save point or fast travel spot or run back to another previously discovered save points. Also, the big finisher moves were so cool to pull off. Just a great video game all around. Man, that was such a great video game.
Mm-hmm. Glad to hear somebody else played it and enjoyed it.
Number 3 was Astrobot. This game was just a big giant smile slapped onto a Blu-ray disc and placed in my eyeballs. Everything was just plain fun. Absolutely would have been my Game of the Year if it wasn't for number 1. Number 1 is Dragon's Dogma 2. The game has been on my wish list since the original came out in 2012. Everything about the game was exactly what I'd hoped for the last decade. The Magic Archer was my go-to this time around after trying and maxing almost all other classes. By the end, I could one-shot almost every enemy in the game, other than the final end-game dragons. Every time I stepped into the wilds was an adventure. Going out at night felt dangerous and exciting. The pawns were absolutely awesome, quirky, and sometimes annoying, but it's exactly what I hoped for. I'm sure there will probably not be a Dragon's Dogma 3, but I'll be okay with that. What an amazing game, and one I plan to revisit to max everything. Thanks for the show and for reading my top 5, quote 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we might get a Dragon's Dogma 3. It just might be a long time. But yeah, I agree with you completely. That game was incredible.
Yeah. That Magic Archer, he's right. That is OP as shit. Like, I took down a oh my God, like, I almost feel like I'm cheating when I'll be fighting with the Magic Archer, like the dragons. I haven't fought the boss level ones, but like the little normal ones, like, yeah, you could totally one-shot them. Great game.
All right. A couple tweets, skeets. Shogun says, not to rehash the conversation. And he was the one, by the way, that sent us the message last week about physical digital games. But he was saying, I was not saying physical games should end. It's just that they're no longer a valid option due to file size, unpolished state of gaming releases. Key features locked behind being online, but for me, I didn't see the benefits of staying physical. Thanks.
I see that. It'd be inviolable, is what he's saying. I get that.
I get the whole, like, how many games do you know that launch that what's on the disc is the whole game?
Anymore?
Yeah,
none?
Like, none of them, right?
Very rare, yeah.
Like, I get that. I don't know that you can solve that problem
Mm-hmm.
unless you release the disc like 6 months after the game comes out.
Mm.
And then people who have physical games, like, do you really want to buy it twice? Of course you don't. Like, that's stupid. So I get the concern with that. And I understand that point of view because people are like, well, I own the game. It's true, you own the game that was printed on the disc, which sometimes is clearly not the game that it actually is, which is both sad and disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
there was a
like-
time when it wasn't like that.
Yeah, you just got the game, and if it was fucked up, oh well.
Yep.
Like, I still remember, what was it? Was it, that first GameCube Zelda game, I think, had a bug in it where it would, like, break the progress, and I guess they would, like, let you send the disc back in and get a replacement disc or something. I don't
I think I
remember.
remember that.
Yeah, I don't
or
remember
something
which
about
one it
that.
was. But yeah, like if like the glitches that you found on the old NES carts, like they're there. They're just there. Going to be there forever.
Yep.
Like games are so complex now that like you can't. You that buy a physical disc, like you, Ryan, when's the last time you ever put a disc in and like it didn't have an update, like on day one? It's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean they basically always have updates on day one for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. Like, what was it? What game did I play the other day? And it already got like a full size game update before the game came out. I think it was Avowed, maybe is what it was. Like it got a 35 gigabyte update before the game even came out.
Jesus.
Not that Avowed has a physical copy, because I don't think it does.
Right. It does not. No, it does not.
It will when it comes to PlayStation.
It's true.
Oh, the world we live in. His second question kind of rolls back to what we talked about earlier. He says, as a game reviewer, how do you feel about comparing the game you are reviewing to other games in the genre?
Oh, well.
A lot of reviews for Avowed are knocking it because it's not Skyrim. What if that was a deliberate design choice not to be the same? Is the criticism still valid? I think we've covered a lot
Yeah,
of this.
we kind of beat that to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way I look at reviewing a game is not that I have some sort of, extra critical eye, right? I try to just look at the shit the way a normal person playing the game who probably doesn't have the level of obsession that the rest of us have about the world of gaming. And so I think the way I look at comparisons in reviews are if I feel like, the comparison is obvious enough that someone's going to make it, then it's probably fair game for me to make it too. But if it's like some obscure comparison, it's probably not worth going out of my way to tie the two together.
Yeah, I find
Like for example, I think just about everybody who plays this WWE game and the NBA game are going to compare the city and the island or whatever it is because they look functionally almost exactly the same. It's pretty obvious on its face, right? But I'm not gonna knock a game for deep cut lore comparisons. I think that's a little silly.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I'm like you. I have like a baser instinct. Like when I'm writing a review for a game, like I'll touch on all those points. Like if it slows down here, or if this kind of looks like shit. Like those are things I can mention, but they very rarely ever affect like how I feel about the game.
Yeah,
But like
most of the people that are going to read the review and potentially buy the game aren't going to notice stuff like that.
no, they don't care.
Right.
Like it's mostly for people like us who are like, well, I'd like to know a little bit more about it. Like the Digital Foundry conversation comes up a lot. And nothing that they're zooming in on 5,000 times and slowing the game down to look at something is going to affect a normal person playing the game. But sometimes it's kind of interesting to see those things.
Right.
Like
yeah, it's just different audiences, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
the audience for Digital Foundry is much more uh, the hyper attentive, um, for lack of a better term, even though I really hate this term, gamer crowd, right? Where it's like you are invested in this ecosystem in a way that the average person who might play the game is not. But reviews, at least in my opinion, tend to be about should you spend money on this or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like most of the people that are reading reviews to decide if they're going to spend money on something or not generally aren't looking at that kind of stuff. They're just trying to figure out, hey, if I can play this, you know, 3 hours a week at best, am I going to have a good time?
Yeah, it's the same way I do. I think of it like when I go to look at reviews for stuff I'm buying. Like when people make a comment about it, I'm like, is this shit gonna break? Does it do what I need it to do?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
just general consumer way of reading a review.
Yeah. I think the general consumer is, there are things that the general consumer is way more forgiving on than most reviewers are. And there are things that reviewers are forgiving on that uh, the average consumer is not. For example, I feel like reviewers in general are more forgiving on complicated control schemes, where you have to learn a million different buttons to know how to do something, um, because they're used to that, right? You play enough games, you get used to that. Whereas when I talk to people who don't play a ton of games, I feel like a lot of the games that they bounce off of, it's because they couldn't understand the controls.
Well, that makes sense. We've got a lot of buttons on our controllers now.
Yeah.
That's
But
why
then I also feel like generally reviewers are more nitpicky about graphical stuff than a lot of casual players are. I feel like a lot of casual players think most games look great.
Yeah, which is true, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of the last game I played where I was like, well, this looks like shit.
Yeah. It's just like, I mean, cinephiles are the same way, right? If I tried to, Terrence knows way more about movies than me, and if we sat down to watch the same movie, I am nowhere near, I'm sure, as critical about stuff that Terrence would probably pick up on immediately because he's seen so many movies and he knows so much more about the art form. Whereas I'm just like, yeah, it was entertaining for 2 hours.
That's my
I got
biggest
you.
thing. These guys give me shit all the time. So I'm like, well, I enjoyed that movie. Like, how did you enjoy that movie? It was terrible.
Yep.
Yeah, I have low
Yep.
standards for movies.
No, me
Listen,
too.
my kids hate watching movies with me because I'll sit there and I'll be like, "Oh, look at this camera angle. Something about to happen." They're like, "Oh my god, Dad!" Like all the time, they hate watching movies with me. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. As long as I didn't feel the need to turn it off or like look at my phone during a movie, it's probably fine.
Yeah.
Like
That's the big thing with me. That if I can watch a show or a movie and not feel the need to look at my phone, like if I pick up my phone, I'm like, nope, obviously I don't care about this, and I just yep, that's been my measurement stick, I guess. If I pick up my phone,
I mean,
while I'm watching.
it's a perfect measurement because if you are not invested in what's on the screen, and there are things that I watch that I do that purposely. Like stuff that I've seen 1,000 times or whatever. But if I'm watching a movie or a TV show I've never seen and I pick up my phone, that is the first indication of like, yeah, this ain't doing it for me.
Well, I was reading something. I was reading something the other day, and I think it was specifically about Netflix. That they're purposely making movies now with a focus on explanatory dialogue because they know most people aren't watching it intently. They've got it on their phone in the background, or they're doing something else while the movie's playing. And so they make a lot of their movies now with overly explanatory dialogue where the characters say what they're doing, to make up for the fact that they know people aren't watching the screen. And I was thinking about that because I started watching The Sopranos again, and man, you gotta watch that.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of stuff that gets done and said, and facial expressions, and eye contact, and where people are looking in that show, that it's a different world. Even 20 years ago, when you talk about the way visually, the way these movies and high level series are being made, based on how much attention they know they have or don't have from the person watching it.
It's crazy how much it's changed over the years, and I blame it 100% on phones.
Oh yeah, I
Mhm.
mean smartphones
Yeah.
are attention stealers.
Yeah, I think back to, not the old man this shit, but like going to the movie theater before cell phones were a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no, like everybody was just paying attention to the movie. They got people fucking taking pictures of their popcorn and making TikToks.
Yeah.
Man, that's an old man statement right there.
Yeah, old men yelling at clouds right now, but it's true.
It is 100% true. All right, one last tweet comes from Jeremy just to follow up. He says, quick addition to my Game of the Year email. I had an honorable mention for Empire of the Ants. This is a really fun, unique game. Feels like Battalion Wars-ish, and the perspective of the ants is pretty cool. Thanks for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you
good.
reviewed that, right?
I did. Yeah, I liked
Yeah.
it. I just wish that when when the Lipid armies were fighting, that it was a little bit more animated. Because I gotta go back. Maybe they patched that. Because only ever the front line was ever actually like fighting, and then as they die, like somebody else moves up to the front line, even though you have like a whole battalion. Like it was just kind of weird, but it was beautiful game, like graphically and stuff. Really, really pretty.
That reminds me of that South Park episode where they had that big war, and it stopped right before they started fighting. And it's like, we could have animated this, but it would have taken weeks and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I remember that. That's what this feels like, though. Like, yeah, we only got enough to animate this row. That's it.
Hey, sometimes you ain't got the money for it, man.
I saw a YouTube short the other day that was the South Park creators talking about how Terrence and Phillip were created as a response to people who said that the dialogue was overly juvenile and the animation sucked. And they're like, no, here's some overly juvenile dialogue with terrible animation.
Oh, dude,
That's
you and I must
funny.
have watched exactly the same clip because I think it was Matt Stone who said we made it because they said ours was just poor animation with fart jokes. He's like, well, let me give you poor animation with fart jokes.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh, I can't believe those guys are still doing that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. That show came out when I was out of high school.
I was still in high school when it came out.
I think.
Gee, that's right. I forgot y'all are older than me. I was in the
It was
8th
like
grade,
what?
I think, when it came
was it
out.
98 or 99? I can't remember.
I think
it was 98.
98 was when the Spirit of Christmas, right? Hold on. Spirit of Christmas. South Park. 1992. What? That can't be right.
What? Oh my God.
That can't be right. Hold on.
No. What? Yeah.
1995.
Okay. Really? Okay. Well, all right. Well, I
yeah,
guess
according
I
to
didn't start watching
Wikipedia, the first one was 1992, Jesus versus Frosty. And then it got big on the internet with the Spirit of Christmas in 1990. 1995 was Jesus versus Santa.
Oh, wow. When did it launch on Cartoon Network?
The first season?
Yeah.
Let's check. South Park season 1. Not 10. 1997.
Okay, that sounds right. Yeah, I was still in high school.
Man, I graduated in 98, I think.
Yeah, you graduated the year before me.
Yeah, so I graduated in 98. So yeah, I was still in high school. I was a senior, I guess. Fuck. God.
Crazy to think about.
Oh my God. Season 1, Episode 1, Cartman gets an anal probe, August 13th, 1997. 28 years ago.
Wow.
Man.
God damn, man. First question asked on Google, is South Park okay for a 12-year-old? Dude, I still won't let my kid watch South Park. What, are you crazy? Oh. Although, what's funny is, like, I won't let him watch it, but I totally would have watched it at 14.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, that's it for the show this week. If you want to send us an email, it's podcasts@ztgd.com. You can tweet or skeet at us at ZTGD Radio on the Twitter and the Blue Sky. We don't have a Facebook. We don't have an Instagram. We do have a YouTube channel that you can watch all the shows there.
Yep.
I don't
And
know.
if you're lucky, maybe find a couple more videos that we have up on YouTube.
That thing shows up in my recommended sometimes.
I would never recommend it.
No. Unless Gambus Con's in it, then I might recommend it.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. We'll be back next week with some more embargo drops, some more video games. I'm sure it'll be another week of Xbox is dead, because it's been dead and dying for weeks and months and years now. It's crazy. I don't have anything else.
It's not dead yet.
I know, right? Like, how do they keep making money?
They don't. It's all a phantom.
Anyway, unless anybody has anything else, we'll get out of here. Peace, pictures.
Alrighty. And it goes something like this.